afternoon, sir.
Okay, your voice is very clear. Nothing about you with me right now. So first we start with your name.
Okay, sir. So my name is Gauri Kukriti.
Okay, and you would like your interview to be in English, Hindi, or bilingual?
Sir, English, it would be fine. Bilingual will be fine. Any language would be fine.
Okay. So Gauri, where are you from?
Sir, I'm a native of Dehradun. I'm from Dehradun only.
And may I have your educational qualifications also? Because I don't have these in front of me. I want to just.
Yes, I know. I can. Sir, I have done M.Pharm and currently I'm also pursuing PhD and recipient of Women Scientist Scheme also, sir.
Okay. So
And sir, secondly,
you are doing M.Pharm plus pursuing PhD,
sir,
right?
yes, sir, I have done M.Pharm in pharmaceutics and I'm currently pursuing PhD and also I'm a part of Pharmaceutical Academy. I'm an assistant professor also.
In which college?
Sir, SBS University.
SBS University.
BS University.
This is what?
Sardar Bhagwan Singh University.
In Dehradun.
Balawala. Yes, sir. Balawala, Dehradun.
And where did you do your M.Pharm from?
So I have done my studies from SBS only, B.Pharm and M.Pharm, both.
And then after that, you've taken on this teaching job.
Yes, I have taken teaching job. I have got 9 months of industrial experience also. And then I have taken up the teaching job.
Slowly. 9 months of what experience?
Sir, I have got experience in IPQA, in process quality assurance.
Okay. This has to do with the production of drugs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Something like production and quality assurance.
Which organization were you associated with in this?
Sir, at Windlass Biotech.
Windlass is one of the main manufacturers of the drugs in Dehradun and Uttarakhand. Which are the other ones?
Yes. Sir, there are other pharmaceutical companies in Uttarakhand like Akums Pharmaceuticals, and there are other companies like Mankind also. There are many branches of Mankind Pharmaceuticals. Torrent is also there.
Torrent?
And not Torrent, sir. Rydberg Pharmaceuticals. It is also there. And many other like Tirupati Pharmaceuticals is also there.
In your college life, M.Pharm, and before that you would have done B.Pharm also. You would have had some industry attachment or some visits. Did you ever
yes,
go?
Sir, I have done.
Tell me. Where all
Yes,
did
sir,
you?
I have done industrial attachment with the Ranbaxy company in Paonta Sahib. Industrial visit. It was approximately of 1 month. So I just learned whatever I could at that time period.
From where does this drug inspector thing start? I mean, who has decided that there should be a drug inspector, or under which act are you supposed to have a designation or something of a drug inspector?
So the drug inspector, basically it is governed by the Drug and Cosmetic Act 1940. And this act governs the roles and responsibility of a drug inspector, like what needs to be done, the duties and the responsibility. Mainly under Section 51 and 52 of the Drug and Cosmetic Act, the roles and responsibilities of a drug inspector is decided.
Not Section 22 and Section 23?
So 22 and 23. So I think it's wrong. So I'm getting a bit confused. I need to learn.
22 and 23.
22 and 23.
22 talks about the powers of the drug inspector, and
23 rules.
The procedure for the drug inspector. And
drug inspector procedure.
Okay. And by the way, are the veterinary drugs are also part of your domain? Inspection of a
Yes,
drug.
sir.
And what about Ayurvedic and Unani and all these?
So for Ayurvedic Siddha Unani drugs, there is a separate section which governs, and there should be specifically a drug inspector for Ayurvedic Siddha and Unani, having the prescribed qualifications as per the DNC Act. And it is a different, mainly the Ayurvedic Siddha and Unani are under different section. I think it is under section 33F.
I'm not interested in number, just basically. Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
what all does a drug inspector do? First of obviously, he or she inspects, right?
Yes, sir.
What else?
Right, sir.
Then what
Sir,
else
Sir, drug inspector,
would you inspect?
It inspects, and if he found something is not correct, so he can seize the consignment if he want, if he thinks if it.
You have gone very fast. Then they will take
Sorry,
a sample.
they
They will
would take a sample.
take a sample. Then they will search. And if they don't allow the sample, then they will seize.
Please, right.
See,
Yes,
if
sir.
somebody willingly giving a sample, why would you seize?
Right, sir.
Got it? And if you have gone through this act, how many samples should be taken?
So the amount of samples taken.
If you don't know, it doesn't matter. It is more of
So I know, so I know the number of samples the drug inspectors that can take are four.
four. Bus.
So,
Correct. You're
and
right.
in case if there is a manufacturing where there is a drugs are being manufactured, he can take a three samples also if it is
Perfect.
not a retail counter.
Perfect. Now, you go to a manufacturing facility and they are manufacturing something which is not listed in the pharmacopoeia.
Right, sir.
So, would they be authorized to manufacture that drug? Or what would how to say that? You go to, let's say, Ranbaxy. They are making a
sir.
drug which is not listed in the pharmacopoeia, but they are manufacturing. And
Right,
nobody
sir.
else is manufacturing that drug in India.
Right, sir.
So what
Right,
kind
sir.
of drug would that be called?
So that kind of a drug can be a patented drug.
Absolutely perfect. Correct. That's
If
what
it is
exactly. And how do you define a spurious drug or a adulterated drug?
adulterated. So adulterated drug, as per the definition, it is under section 17A. Adulterated drug is basically a drug which is containing any filthy or it is containing something filthy, dirty substances. Or
Mhm.
if a drug is being diluted by using some other excipient or of a lower quality, or if it is not made under the hygienic conditions, and if it is intoxicated with some other substances, so
Mhm.
that can constitute under the adulterated. And
Correct.
spurious means anything which is maybe it is not the right. Suppose it is manufactured by Ranbaxy, but it is being shown that it is manufactured by some other company, or if it is having similar names, or maybe if it is any deceiving names, though that can be also a spurious drug.
Recently, there was some news item about paracetamol and telemarcetin and all that being not exactly up to the standard. Did you read about that anywhere?
Yes, I read about it, and according to that, the CDSC has sent some. The samples were being examined, and it was found that certain products of the pharmaceutical companies, especially drugs like pantoprazole, paracetamol, and many other generic drugs, they were not found of a good quality. They were not at par with the standards which were defined. So that was an objection raised. So that's why they were not proper of that proper labeled.
Suppose you go to a factory where you have some kind of information that something wrong is happening, or maybe some even a, let's say, a drug dealer who's is not the correct word, a pharmacy which is not exactly selling the correct kind of drugs. So would you be under some kind of a pressure to just go and just come back quickly and get rid of the headache? I mean, or what kind of pressures can you envisage when you go to
So if
some
it is
likely to find something wrong going on?
So, if I found that something is not right, not going under the purview of the Act, so I would definitely do the proceedings as per defined as per the DNC Act. I would
Mhm.
not take any other pressure or any sort of anything, any lucrative thing that I can just go off my duty. I need to do my duties very well. So that I have that thing in my head, and I would definitely go as per whatever would be the penalties, offenses, or whatever things would need to be done, whatever the samples would I need to pick up. I will pick up and I will do as per the designated work, whatever I have to do. I will not just go away and just put my eyes off the wrong work that is being
You
done.
can also ask your seniors for certain
Yes, of
advice on
course.
how to go about sensitive issues because they would have
Yes, sir.
handled
Yes.
it in the course of their career. What is the
Sure.
organization of this drug administration in Uttarakhand? Any idea? Any idea?
So so actually, I haven't not read about Uttarakhand till because I'm stuck into DNC Act right now, jurisprudence. No, like I have not much idea about it. I will just revise and I will
You'll be
see.
joining that organization. So
Yes,
you
I know.
and who is the
Yes.
chief drug controller of India? By
Who
by
is the DC?
the main man who is the top of the administration, he is ex officio. That's all the hint I'm giving you.
Okay. I know his name. I forgot. I know his name really well.
Designation. Name is not important.
Drug Controller General of India.
He is the DG, Central Health.
DGCI.
The
Ex-officer DG Central Health, right?
correct. And any other this labs or research institutes? Anything else? Any labs or research institute dealing with the testing of drugs? Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir. So there, there are many different type of regional and zonal labs that have been designated by CDSCO. So there are different type of labs like the RTDL Chandigarh. There is one lab in Guwahati also, and there are 7 such labs and 13 zonal office labs in which the testing can be carried out.
Okay. Now enough of the drug thing. You have been in Uttarakhand since birth, I presume.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What all places have you visited?
So basically, in Uttarakhand, I've just visited this Rishikesh and Haridwar and just adjacent area, and Bhimtal and Nainital also.
Bhimtal and Nainital also you've been. And
Yes,
where do you know that there are issues regarding health? Because there are not many hospitals in this area, except for
Yes,
one
sir.
AIIMS. What about
Yes.
districts like Chamoli, which are really far away, or maybe Pithoragarh? What could be the situation there as far as the health front is concerned? Any idea?
Sir, for that thing, I don't think that there are very multi-speciality hospitals. So there are small primary healthcare centers and smaller hospitals are there. And if in case there is a case which is out of their hand, so they basically refer them to Dehradun or to a big multi-speciality of hospitals like AIIMS and Jolly Grant.
So helicopters will be very useful for all these things.
Yes, sir, sure. So that would be there. Airlifting.
Yeah, they are doing that, I think, in AIIMS
Yes,
already.
sir, they're doing. Yes, sir, they're already doing airlifting the patients to the hospitals in case of an emergency.
And during COVID, how was the situation in Uttarakhand? Any idea?
So during
Leaving aside Dehradun. Dehradun is, of course, a city. And the
Yes, sir.
other is what was the situation like?
So in Uttarakhand, it was not of a very good state. Like initially, it was a very havocing state. There were so many patients, and it was a very crushing a lot because there are limited hospitals, multi-speciality hospitals that can cater. But it was a very devastating situation at one point. But a little, but after that, it was it was controlled to a greater extent. And many healthcare facilities were available at home also, like different type of that breathable and inhalation things, and a different type of medication they were available. And those medicines that were like remdesivir, it was not available in previously, but slowly and after it was made available, and to a greater extent they were able to cope up with the situations. But at one time it was quite disturbing.
अच्छा, अब आप ये बताइए, मैं थोड़ा हिंदी में ही पूछता हूँ कि उत्तराखंड में जो टूरिज्म है बहुत बढ़ रहा है, तो और इस पर्यावरण पे भी बहुत ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है, तो आपके हिसाब से टूरिज्म बढ़ते रहने देना चाहिए, देहरादून जैसे शहर और बढ़ते रहें और भी 4 धाम की यात्रा में लाखों की जगह करोड़ों लोग आ जाएं, ये ज्यादा उचित रहेगा या कुछ और विचार है आपका इस बारे में?
सर, मेरा इस बारे में ये विचार है कि टूरिज्म हमारा एक बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट क्षेत्र है, तो इसके लिए हमें मतलब हमें इसको प्रमोट करना चाहिए, लेकिन अगर हम उसको ओवर कर देंगे तो हमारी पूरी जो पर्यावरण पे बहुत ही खराब इफेक्ट पड़ेगा। तो उस केस में हमें क्या करना चाहिए, बैचेस ऑफ टूरिस्ट, मेरे ख्याल से मुझे मतलब अगर हो सके तो बैचेस ऑफ टूरिस्ट हो, कि एक जगह पे इतने से ज़्यादा टूरिस्ट ना हो, और बहुत सस्टेनेबल मेथड्स ऑफ जैसे कि फूडिंग है या ऐसी चीज़ें हैं जो कि क्या सस्टेनेबल हो, और सिंगल यूज़ प्लास्टिक को कहा जाए टूरिस्ट से कि आप अवॉइड करें यूज़ करना, और सस्टेनेबल मेथड हम यूज़ करें, तो इससे क्या है हमारे पर्यावरण पे कम इफेक्ट पड़ेगा। दूसरा क्या है, टूरिस्ट को रिस्ट्रिक्ट करके दी, यानी कि एक लॉट में सपोज 5,000 टूरिस्ट से ज़्यादा ना आ सके, तो उससे क्या होगा कि कम थोड़ी-थोड़ी अगर हम बैचेस में भेजेंगे तो सब घूम भी लेंगे और बहुत ज़्यादा डिलीटेरियस इफेक्ट नहीं होगा, वरना इकट्ठे इतने सारे टूरिस्ट को मैनेज करना इज़ नॉट अच्छा, मतलब बहुत आसान नहीं है, बहुत प्रॉब्लम क्रिएट कर सकता है।